Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Are You Listening with Abigail. I hope everyone's good. I have I say just got back from Mauritius. I am about 5 days since coming back from my holiday in Mauritius, which was just the most incredible experience. It was so beautiful. If anyone is ever thinking of going to Mauritius, it's been on my bucket list for a really long time, and me and my partner knew it was the place we wanted to kind of splurge to go on holiday and go and really enjoy it. And I cannot explain how incredible of a holiday it was. It was just so beautiful. The island was beautiful. The people are just so kind. And yeah, the food was also absolutely amazing. So we had a great time, and it's really hard being back. I usually actually feel ready to come back, kind of getting a bit of a routine. We're on the build up to Christmas, all of that sort of stuff. And I didn't want to come home. Both of us did not want to come home. I easily could have done another week. Maybe if we moved hotels, went to a different part of the island. I could have been there for at least another week. And I never feel like that about anyone, anywhere, because I love being at home and I'm a real homebody. And yeah, it was just incredible. And yeah, if you're thinking of going to Mauritius, do it. It's absolutely insane. But it's good to be back recording episodes. I know that there was a week that I missed. The plan was to record an episode while I was in Mauritius, and that was the plan. The way the holiday flew and the way it flowed, it didn't make sense for me to sit down and record an episode during that period of time at all. So yeah, we also had planned for 2 episodes to go up. One didn't upload, so there was a week while I was there it just didn't. So that went up the Sunday just gone. But we're back, we are recording, and I wanted to think of an episode that actually made a little bit of sense while I've just been away. I've been somewhere that, although it was very expensive to go and very expensive to be there on holiday, it's quite a poor country. And I don't know, me and my partner were having a bit of a conversation. Both of us, we're not rich, we're not, super, super wealthy, but between us especially, we're very comfortable, very, very comfortable. And, you're talking to the people that live out in Mauritius and the cab drivers and stuff who, as I said, the people out there were genuinely the kindest and just most happiest people I have ever met. And asking the cab drivers how much money, the people that work in the hotel make and he makes and things like that. And it's very little. Most of them don't own houses. Apparently, to buy a house out there is so ridiculously expensive, which I know we can relate, but the wages here are a lot higher than out there. And I don't know, it just kind of led us to have a few conversations about how we want to kind of give back. And there's a lot of people that are struggling right now, and the country and the world is in a pretty dark place. And I just think where we can help, we kind of wanted, especially as a couple, individually, whatever, we kind of wanted to talk about how we can help a little bit more. So I kind of wanted this topic to be, well, basically what I wrote down is, why do we always want more? We live in a society and a world now that is full of consumption, and it's full of always wanting more. My TikTok is full of my autumn wants and my autumn wish lists, and what I'm buying clothes wise and what I'm buying going into autumn and winter, as if it's normal to buy a brand new wardrobe every single time you go on, you go into a new season. Or I don't know. And I'm not bad mouthing anyone, because I can be the same, and I can find myself, I'm very one or the other. There was about a year-long period of time I didn't buy any clothes, and I kind of just, I wore everything I had and I just made it work. Then it actually started getting to the point where I was like, okay, some of these clothes are starting to wear out now, I'm going to have to replace. And then I kind of found myself back in a routine of oh, I want something new, I want this, I want that. So I'm trying to bring myself back to the place I was before of, I've got enough. Unless I need it, I don't need it. So yeah, Why do we always want more? Subtypes would be like, gratitude, giving back and learning from the people who have less but live more. So that's kind of the idea for today's episode. And like I said, the idea for this episode was kind of being on holiday and talking to them people, but today my partner is off work as well, so today he kind of said to me, he's like, why don't we go to our local food bank, why don't we go and do a bit of a shop, and why don't we go to our local food bank and just give back. So that is what we spent this morning doing, which it is very fulfilling, and you do feel very lovely for doing something like that. And it's a very, very, very small part of what we can be doing, but you feel good for doing it. But yeah, being around people on holiday that have a lot less than you and are so happy and so kind, and like you just feel that real sense of community amongst everyone. So I wrote the question down: why do we, with so much, always want more? Why do we always want more? And the simple answer is, the more you have, the more you want, right? It's the same with money. It's the same. The more money you make, the more you want, the more you buy. When people are like, I don't know what I'll do if I take a pay cut, you make it work. You absolutely make it work. You pull back on the things that are not necessities anymore. And you sit and you really think, okay, do I need this? No, I don't. So while I was away, you notice the locals with simpler lives that have really deep joy. We hired a car one day and just drove to kind of the local beaches, and so many families that had like packed little lunches and packed dinners, and they're there all together laughing, playing music, just sitting on this beach eating the food that they've packed up. So they haven't even gone out and got a takeaway or ordered all this food. They was homemade food, just sitting together and enjoying each other's company with nothing other than that. And it just felt like it's the stark contrast of being back at home and surrounded by consumerism, endless comparison, and always wanting the next thing, like a new house, a car, an engagement ring, a bigger flat. And these are just things, or like a designer bag. And these are things that, from my perspective, the things that I want. Like, it's funny when I think about, we're looking at getting a car, and I do try to live off the fact that if it's not broken, don't fix it. Meaning, like, if I don't need it, I'm not going to replace it or get another one. I don't have a really fancy car. I have got a car that's actually 18 years old. I've been driving for 10 years this year. We have only ever been the owners of the car. It was my mum's car then for 8 years. Then I started driving. It was given to me. It was my sister's first car. And it genuinely has got to the point where I had it MOT'd, and the guy was like, you will not get another year out of this. Like, it will pass the MOT for now. You're all good. But after that, you're going to need a new car by this time next year, which is why we're looking at one. But with our flat, like, I love our flat. It's beautiful. But am I always looking at what we need now and watching videos and what we can add to it and whatever, instead of just sitting and thinking and being grateful, like, for what we have got? It's very easy to get caught up in all of that. And I think the reflection that I wrote down is like, are we actually chasing happiness, or is it just things? It is such a small period of that, that serotonin and that excitement as that new thing comes in or that new thing happens, and you feel like, I'll be happy once I have that. But the happiness scale doesn't go up any further because you've bought a new pair of shoes. It is just for that second, wow, that was so good, like, I feel really good now. And then literally by the next day, it's done, gone, that's that. And I think that there is just a cycle of always wanting more and comparing to the next person. We adjust really quickly to what we have, and then we're not grateful anymore at that point, and because we're thinking of what's next and what we want after that. some personal examples would even be like when you hit goals, right? Like I was in my own business, always wanted to be fully booked. And the minute I get fully booked, I don't want to be fully booked anymore because I'm burnt out. The brand collab that I work with, I work with Lash Base, and that's so. And to be fair, do you know what? I would say that working with Lash Base it has been one of the only things that I really. Every single time I work with them, I do something for them, I put their name on something I've done. The gratefulness for that has never slipped, because I think I realise how lucky I am to have that. But we want to move to another part of London, and I'm constantly thinking, okay, well, when are we going to do that? And we can start looking at flats and stuff, and it's just still always looking for the next thing. And yeah, this is me kind of admitting, like, I'm not immune to it. I'm just starting to notice, okay, I think I need to take a bit of a step back again and just look, and I don't need anything more. As long as we've got our health and we've got all of this stuff, that is the most important thing, realistically. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to think about, how giving back to that food bank, it's not even that it's necessarily shifted my energy. I think, like I said, having the conversation with my partner and looking at what we want next and the materialistic things that come with that, as opposed to like what's actually important. I do want to kind of have that shift, and going to that food bank, like I said, especially, it's not about losing the money, it's about sharing the abundance. And that's exactly what we were thinking of it as. It's not I don't have the money to do that right now, because you could donate one loaf of bread, you could donate one packet of tampons, you could literally donate one thing, and that would make a difference to what you could afford. So it is just sharing that abundance, And as I get older, I just want to contribute more. Both of us, especially, have just said we want to kind of contribute more. We want to volunteer and do some stuff and help where we can, not just constantly consume more. I do think social media has got a big play to ask in this. It's really hard to not scroll through social media and think, well, I want that, and maybe that would be good if I had that, or maybe I need that. If you actually sat and asked yourself the question, do I need it? No. I'm really, for the last few years especially, if I'm going to buy something, especially that's a little bit more expensive, I do sit and think, like, do I need this? If it's a piece of clothing, I always say to myself, I need to think of 3 times or 3 outfits that I would wear this with to make sure I am getting, that use out of it, rather than just, especially when I was like 18 and going out, like me and all my friends, I need a new top for this, I need a new outfit for this. Like, you don't need a new outfit. You just don't. You have got so many things. And yes, it is nice to treat yourself sometimes, but if it is just, well, I'm going out, I need something new, that's when I think you need to kind of just have like a think, do I? And doing it as a couple, doing it together, it's kind of building them shared values and their rituals of kindness together. It's quite a special moment to think that you're doing really good things together. And like I said, like building them shared values and having shared morals is very, very important. And I think especially as you get older and you want to make sure that you are on the same page with them things. Like if you was to turn around to your partner and obviously you said, go into your local food bank, that'd be really important for me to do that. Will you do that with me? And they're like, oh, well, no, I can't afford that. And oh, no, like, oh, I can't do that right now. No, I'm too busy to do that. Like, it does make you think, okay, well, if you're not kind of putting this as a priority like I am, are we on the same page with these sorts of things? And that is very important, to share values in that way. So kind of wanted to think about kind of like reflections for myself and for you guys listening, just something to think about, or ways that we could give back our time instead of always needing and wanting more. Donating food, like I said, it could really just be something as simple as like donating one thing, one small bag of things. Like even when we went to the supermarket today, we were really putting loads of stuff in the basket, like first time we're doing it, let's not worry too much about how much it's going to be, and it will really kind of help a lot of people. And actually, when you get to the till, it's not as bad as you think it is. Like, we were just like, in the grand scheme of things, the amount of money we spent is nothing. And like I said, we're in a very privileged position to be able to do something like that. And I really don't want it to sound like we're, telling everyone, or I'm telling everyone to be like, go and put yourself out of pocket to go and help others. Because if you're struggling, that doesn't mean that you have to put yourself out of pocket. But what I would say is like, you can then give back in other ways with your time, in skills, or even just awareness that other people don't have as much as you, or the things you say or complain about is the person you're talking to struggling in that moment, and you being like, oh, I really wanted this pair of shoes and like I can't get them at the moment, or they're out of stock at the moment, and I'm looking for that, like just complaining about things like that. I just think sometimes, like, if that person is sitting and listening with you and thinking, I can't afford one pair of shoes or a new pair of shoes, I need a new pair of work ones and I can't afford that, like, yeah, it's just being aware, volunteering to, that takes no money, you are just purely giving back your time. And I'm sure there's a lot of other ways you can do it, even just donating to charities and things like that where you can. And I think we also need to look at how to reframe the whole like wanting more into kind of appreciating more. And this, like I said, this needs to be me too. This isn't me sitting and being like, guys, you need to do this. This is really bad if you don't do this. Because I'm the same. Like, I can be a real whiny, moany, quite negative sort of person sometimes. And I think I just want to kind of just wake up grateful, but practice a bit more. Sorry if it's really loud outside. There's an aeroplane going over. Hopefully that should be a bit quieter. I wanted to wait until it went over a little bit. But yeah, I think my personal list of things I want to do is that, like, a bit more morning gratitude, waking up grateful in the morning, listing the things I'm grateful for, and maybe before bed, just even if it's just in your head, listing 3 things that you're grateful for. Maybe some rituals. Like, for me, my Sundays are really important to kind of get a bit of my life together, but also to rest. And I also think, like, taking the time to sit, and if you're cleaning your place and you're cleaning and you're putting things away, being grateful for, I've got these clothes and I've got a warm bed and I get to relax right now. And it's also celebrating small luxuries, like, having a hot meal of an evening, or, having your warm flat and being able to turn your heating on, to really tiny things, just taking the time to be grateful for that. I think the idea that generosity and gratitude expand your life, at the end of the day, generosity and gratitude expand your life instead of making it smaller. Being grateful for things and generosity to other people, it makes you feel so fulfilled and realise that actually, like, we have all got more than enough. Yes, there is a lot of people that don't, but as I was saying at the beginning, there's a lot of people that don't have anywhere near as much as us, and they are the ones, they seem the most grateful, that have the most gratitude, and are still so generous. And I think all of us with a bit more, maybe we need to look at just being a bit kinder. And yeah, I really hope this episode doesn't sound like I'm kind of like bashing people. A lot of it is a self-reflection upon coming back off of holiday, if I'm completely honest. But I just think maybe there's other people that are kind of feeling the same thing. And sometimes it does just take listening to someone else to have that self-reflection and to realise. I'll keep this kind of a bit short and sweet, but at the end of the day, if people with less can feel joy, can we learn to stop moving the goalpost of our own happiness? It's important to have goals. It's important to be working towards something, I believe. It's important to always kind of look into the next thing, but not too far forward, and not being grateful for what you've got right now. And I think that appreciating what you have, it doesn't mean, like I say, that you stop dreaming, but it means that your dreams don't cost the earth. As I said, that saying that, you can have 101 problems until your health is a problem, and then you only have one problem. As long as we have all got our health, we've got people around us, we've got a roof over our head, we've got more than enough to be grateful for. And one little thing before I go that I really loved was, it must be a thing in Mauritius, because in our hotel, and then I spoke to someone else, they said it was in their hotel as well, they have a thing called, they called it I think it was either the wishing tree or like the tree of wishes or something like that. And the point of it is you write down something that you want to manifest or you wish for, and you put it on the tree, and it's meant to come true. And when I was kind of reading, without being too obviously invasive of people's what they've wrote, just upon glance, it's so funny how you tell someone to write down their dreams, what they want to manifest and whatever, and most of them said the health and happiness of myself and my family. Most didn't say an awful lot else, and if they did, health and happiness came first, because that is the most important thing at the end of the day. Yeah, I don't know, I just think going into my 30s, I'm how many months now? November, December, January, February. I'm about 4 months away from 30 now. And I do want to kind of go into my 30s with a bit of a more grateful, softer lifestyle, if that makes sense. I'm very busy, what's next, what's this, what's that, and I do think it's going to take a long time for me to sit and kind of practice being grateful and gratitude and being more present and stuff, but it is something I want to work towards, and I think this episode is a nice start of that. So if you are someone that also is feeling the same, is even if you're not going into your 30s, you're kind of just wanting to go into the new year feeling like that, then I love that. And yeah, I'll do a few more episodes on kind of the sort of things I want to do, or what I'm kind of like changing, or I don't know, maybe even I don't know, but maybe a few more episodes as to just like what changes I kind of want to make in my life going into the new year, and like I say, going into a new century. Is that a new century? Is 10 years a century? Don't quote me on that if I've got, and don't come for me if that's wrong, but like going into a new chapter of my life. But yeah, just a bit of a reflective episode. I hope everyone enjoyed this. I am really excited to get back into it, and I really enjoy making these episodes. It's a real outlet for me. It's very healing. There are some topics I really want to talk about, and I will get round to them. But if there is anything that you specifically want to listen to, there are some people on TikTok that are so nice, and I've heard there are some girls who listen to me on a religious basis, and I cannot thank everyone enough for that. That is so kind. And if I help even one person with one episode, then I'm doing exactly what I set out to do. So thank you, everyone. If you are listening on Spotify, please make sure you review, you comment, you share with your friends who you think would love this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe, all of the good stuff. I'm still trying to get round to maybe trying to get these on Apple Podcasts. It seems a lot more complicated than getting them on Spotify, but it is an aim. I am trying. But I hope everyone has a lovely week. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a lovely Sunday or whatever day it is for you. And yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.